Welcome everybody, I'm Paul and I'm just going to go through a solo game of Inheritance with you guys, teach you some of the rules and we'll see how we go. I haven't scripted anything here, we're just going to play a random game and you guys can learn how to play solo Inheritance, which is handy if you've bought Inheritance and you haven't managed to find anyone to play with yet, but Inheritance can be played with one person, two person, three persons, four persons, and even five persons. And every time you add a new player, you can play a different variation of the game to always keep it fresh and to keep it fun. Some games, as you add more and more players to it, can sometimes make the game less fun. With Inheritance, we've kind of made a variation for every time you add a new player to balance that gameplay to maximize how much fun it is. Obviously, when you're playing a solo game, it's very different. So in a game of Inheritance solo, you set up the board very similar to how you would play in other game types. We'll put out the two parents like this, and we'll put out the proposal. All right, we're also going to make it easy for ourselves for this game, we're going to draw 6 cards. The more cards you draw at the start of the game, the easier you'll have a chance of beating the solo mode. If you start with less cards, like 5 or even 4, you're going to really struggle to win. It's a harder difficulty. 6 should be enough for us to win, but sometimes you can still lose. There's a little bit of luck, similar to like Solitaire, but we'll see how we go. So this is a normal setup. You draw 6 cards. This is our hand here. So I've got some green cards, I've got some red cards, and I got a gold card. Okay. This is how the solo differentiates itself from all the other game types. So what's going to happen here is we're going to dish out 4 admirers here. One of these admirers is going to be ours, and we'll find out who in a second. So let's meet the parents. So here we have the Assassin of Love, the Spy of Coin, and have a successor, which is the Vizier of Love. And the first proposal is going to be a declaration of war. So here we have no suits are favoured. And then highest ranks win over here. For those who don't know how to play this game, you could probably learn from watching me here, but there are other videos that we can link in the video description here that will show you actually how to play this game with more players. But this is just going to be the solo mode. Alright, so now we get to meet all the admirers that we've thrown out here. Now, one of these admirers is going to be ours, and then the other 3 admirers are going to be opponent admirers, or adversaries, so to speak, or competitors. Okay, so if there is no favourable suit, and it's the highest one wins, then this general holds the inheritance, or holds the ring of favour. You can see here that this person is winning, according to what we see here. Your admirer is always going to be on the right of the person, of the winning admirer down here. So because we don't have an admirer on the right, we de facto become this spy on this side, right? So this is our admirer. If, of course, the assassin was the winning admirer, then we would be the general for this round, right? So we always play to the right of the person who's winning, except, of course, the most right admirer, we have to then become the one on the other side here. All right, so I usually just bring my admirer down so I remember who I am. So using the cards in my hand, I have to play up to as many as I want to try and get the ring of favour over to me. So in this case, I have the second highest card. So what I could do is I could replace this admirer with a thespian, right? So if I do that, this card gets discarded. I'll put discarded cards over here. And now the highest card is me, right? And that's it. So I win the first round. Simple as that. So before I pack up this round, I get to choose one of these cards, one of these adversarial admirers, to put in my hand. Usually I'd like to pick a card that is something a color that I don't have. I think the Assassin's always a good pick. I'm going to take that. These two cards are discarded. Put them over here. Cool. And we start setting up for the next round. So the next round is simply you just kind of bring up the parents. We got married. We bring out a new successor, and we throw out 4 new admirers. Okay, we flip them over and we start again. So the game finishes when we go through the entire deck, right? So there should be like maybe 4 or 5 rounds. All the cards are behaving exactly as they would in other game types, except for maybe one exception, which is the soldier. And if we come across the usage of that soldier, we'll explain as we go. But yep, same setup now. Highest one is winning, which is this 10. This one here has got the Ring of Favor, which means we are the cleric, the gold cleric. Now, if I assassinate the royal here, it will become a draw between the two clerics, which is not helpful. If I could make this gold card favorable, I would steal the win, which I can do. If I pop this green card up here, the missing suit is gold, and I have now the highest gold card, and that means that I win this round. Yeah. So you can see having more cards in your hand, starting with 6 cards, for example, makes the game a lot easier because you have more choice. Okay, so I have won this round, and I will choose a purple card to put in my hand because that will be useful, and then discard these cards here. Put them over here. Whoop. And we move on to the next round. So the parents get replaced by the newlyweds, and we put down they have a new kid. So you can play more than one card a turn. The danger of doing this is that you only recover one card at the end of the turn. So if you play 2 cards to get the Ring of Favor and win the round, you lose a card from your hand permanently. It becomes a little bit of a slippery slope as you move throughout the rounds, as your hand gets smaller and smaller. Sometimes you just need to do that, right? So you can see that the missing suit is red and purple, which means that this is the winning one, which means we're going to be this assassin of peace, whatever that means. So this might be an example where we might need to play 2 cards. We can make ourselves favorable by putting a gold card up here, but then we're going to have an issue with these other gold cards. If we put a gold card up top the proposal, then green and gold become favorable suits, and we're definitely not the highest of those. What other options? We could kill some people, which is good. Oh, here we go. So what I can do is I can play a cleric up top here. Now I play a gold card up top here, and you can see that I am the only one in the favorable suit. So now I get to choose one of the 3 admirers that don't get chosen. So I'm going to go for so I've already got a soldier. I'm going to get this general. I haven't got a general. So I guess a bit of the skill is trying to prepare your hand for the worst. So I'm trying to have a little bit of everything in my hand. Okay, so let's flip these over here. Boop. Okay, and then now they get married. The wedding bells are ringing, and they have a kid. All right, so we flip over. So we've got a beggar of war, and they're marrying for a generous dowry. So this green suit is favorable, and it's the highest of those suits. So we haven't experienced a draw yet on the setup, but when it does, we'll go through it. When you reveal the 4 admirers, there's obviously a small chance that you have a tie from the get-go. If that happens, that's fine. You just need to do an extra step. You always have to break the tie. So we're going to be this beggar. Alrighty. So we have to make red favourable, and we are also the lowest red suit, which is not great. So to make red favourable, we just need to make the missing suits favourable. The other option is I could use this spy and play a high gold card, which could be just as good. So if I play the spy, yep, I can put this card back in my hand, wherever it went, and replace it with this card here. Okay, so now I have the highest favourable suit, and I win. I would like to have a green card. I think a green peasant might be useful here. Boop. Put this over here. Okay, we get married. This might be our last round. Oh no, still got 2 in us. We're doing well. We've still got 5 cards in our hand. I can't see how we lose this, but you know. Flip. Okay, bang, 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 bang. So the favourable suits are going to be purple and gold, lots of purple, and then the highest one is this vizier, which means we're going to play as the cleric. Okay, this is an easy win. I can replace the cleric with my royal of the same colour. So pop that here, and now I'm the one that holds the Ring of Favour. I would really like another purple card. I think going with this assassin is going to be a safe bet. You might as well get them when you can. They're not always useful, but they are usually useful. Put that here. Obviously, I get married, and we're up to the last round. So far, this game's been very easy. Starting with 6 cards is very easy. Okay, so before I flip them over, you can see we only have 1 card left in the deck, which means after we finish this round, we can't pull out a successor and enough admirers to continue. How many is enough admirers? Well, you need at least 2 admirers to continue into the next round. So if there were 3 cards left in the deck, there would be a small round after this of 1 successor and 2 admirers. 1 is yours and 1 is your opponent's. But in this case, with only 1 card, this will be the last round. So let's have a look. All right, so purple and red are the favourable suits. These are our purple and red cards. And the highest one of those is this soldier. Cool. Means we're going to be this peasant. And, I mean, we can be cheesy here. You get more points. I reckon you should be judging yourself on how many cards you have left after the game. So you could use up a lot of cards here to win this last round. Ideally, you want to try and use as little cards as possible, right? So if I get rid of this soldier, it will tie between this admirer and our admirer here. Is there a way in which I can only use 1 card? I could make it lowest, which will still have the same effect. I'll tie. I can assassinate my 2 competitors, which will de facto make me win, which is just using the same amount of cards. And yeah, so I can just do that. I'll use 2 assassins, 1 assassin to kill off this guy here. An assassin just gets rid of one of the competition. Like that. And now we have a tie between the red and the purple peasant, which is not good, but that's alright because I have another assassin. And I'll just kill the red one. There we go. And now, even though we're both 3s, I'm in a favourable suit. There we go. I technically can draw this card here. There we go. And we get married, like this. And that's really the end of the game. We can see what our child looked like. Wish me luck. Ah! Honestly, not too bad, given that it was a beggar and a peasant. Having a thespian is, you know, you're going up in the world slowly. So that was just a quick game of an easy start for solo. I think it's a good way to play and get used to the mechanics of the game, because all the mechanics of the game are effectively the same. Learning how to work out who is holding the Ring of Favour and so on. Our cards left were 4. But what we're going to do now is we're going to play another game, and we're going to play on the more standard difficulty, which is starting with 5 cards.